Hello, this is Shilpa here. I'm the author of the HomeoQuest software. Now, in the next 15 minutes, I will introduce you to a simple yet extremely powerful concept which will change the way you look at homeopathic software programs. Now, it's a concept which will not just enrich your practice, but will add a complete new dimension to it. Now, let me go back to the story of HomeoQuest. Now, when I was practicing as a homeopathic GP in India, I was exposed to a number of homeopathic programs, not just during my practice, but also during my internship and later when I worked in busy clinics as an assistant homeopath. Although the introduction of homeopathic programs had substantially decreased the amount of time paper repertoizations took, it was still a process to work through them. Now, most softwares I worked with had about 6 or 7 steps. The first one was converting the patient's key symptoms into rubrics. The next one was struggling to find the exact rubric in the exact section in your chosen repertory. The third one was collecting all these essential rubrics in a clipboard or a repertorial sheet. The next one was then finally repertorizing, choosing a particular analysis method. Now, at times, it required multiple repertoizations and repeating the entire process again until you were happy with the final group of leading remedies. The next one was getting into the Materia Medica section or another program if need be, and then finally reading each of these remedies in the Materia Medica again to make your final choice. And I'm sure you'll agree with me. Now, you could still use around half an hour or so to work through one single case analysis. Although this was much better than spending about 2 hours in paper repertoizing and scrolling through thick books, it was still a substantial time, especially in acute, so when cases were taken in less than 15 minutes, but you ended up spending about half an hour working on them. In chronic cases, it still added an extra time dimension to the patient analysis, leaving an average homeopath working around 1 to 2 hours extra, even if you had about 2 or 4 cases a week which needed repertoization. So that was how I dreamed of a software which just eliminates these extra steps, a program where you can put in direct patient symptoms and possibly get ready-made prescriptions. So that was how the idea of HomeoQuest came. I wanted, together with my husband, who was a software engineer, I wanted to create a software which just does exactly that. And that was how the idea of HomeoQuest was conceived. Now, it has a unique feature in it which repertoizes directly from the Materia Medica data along with the repertory data. All you need to do is provide the key symptoms in your patient, and the Quest feature will turn those from thousands of symptoms in your Materia Medica and thousands of rubrics in your repertories to provide ready prescriptions all in one go. Now, it was absolutely a super time saver for me. So you're actually eliminating all those 7 steps to just one click, and you have your analysis ready made in front of you. No wonder you can exactly perform your entire analysis in 1 minute or even lesser. And this was the beauty of Quest. It was like a dream come true for me. Now, having said that, you can also do everything else what other softwares can do. You can do your traditional repertoizations, you can do your browsing through your Materia Medica, your repertories, your searches with some powerful search engines. However, the uniqueness of HomeoQuest is the simplicity and the ease of use in every feature. Now, when you're working in the normal way using traditional repertoization, even here, the simplicity of HomeoQuest is that it makes this process in just 3 steps instead of the 7. Now, let's use the example, a case example to demonstrate this. Now, I've actually chosen an example where I use 3 different features to confirm the final remedy. I'm using the traditional repertoization, I'm using the Quest, and the remedy comparison. We'll try and analyze an acute case of fever, and normally these take about half an hour to 45 minutes in most softwares, and you require quite a few tutorials to go through that. We'll try and do that in HomeoQuest in just about 10 minutes. Now, this is the fever in a child. The paroxysms come only at night. The face is very red during fever, and there's a strong desire for lemonade. Okay, now we'll try and confirm it with 3 different confirmations. First, we'll use the traditional repertorization. For that, I'll jump directly onto the repertory search. Now, I'll find the 3 symptoms from the repertories. The first one is fever, night. Now, this will bring you all the rubrics from different repertories and with the symptom fever and night, with the words fever and night in it. I'll choose the rubric from the complete repertory. I'll double click it, and down here the repertorization starts straight away. I'll use the second symptom, face red during fever. I'll choose another rubric here from the complete repertory, double click it. That's your second symptom here, which is repertorized. The third one was desire for lemonade. And I'll use the third one. Now, this is the repertorization, the final one. I'll use another analysis. I'll use the rubric analysis. And as you see, these are the top remedies: belladonna, lachesis, pulsatilla, kelp, ammon, and cyclamen, all covering all the 3 rubrics in your case. Now we'll confirm it using the quest analysis. So for that, I'll jump onto the quest feature and put in the same 3 symptoms. Now remember, in the quest analysis, you have your materia medica component being repertorized as well. So in your repertorial analysis, you had only the repertories being repertorized. And if you wanted to read a particular remedy, what you needed to do was just click on to a particular remedy, such as belladonna, and then you open up the repertories, the materia medica directly, and you can read belladonna from all these different books. So you click on a book and start reading belladonna. Similarly, if you wanted to know, read lachesis from a book, you click on lachesis, and there you have the books containing lachesis. Click on any book and read lachesis from it. However, you can avoid wasting time here, and you directly go on to the quest and repertorize it from the materia medica. So I'll put in the same 3 symptoms, fever, night. Now here you have the top remedies for fever, night from both the materia medica as well as the repertories. You put in the next symptom, face red, fever during. These are the top remedies for face red during fever. And the third one is desire lemonade. Now these are the top remedies for desire lemonade. And down here is the graphical representation of all these 3 symptoms analyzed together. So if you see here, if you add on the materia medica component, pulsatilla comes strongly represented in your totality. However, in your repertorial sheets, you had belladonna being strongly represented. Now for a third confirmation, I normally use the remedy comparison section. Now in this case, if you see, belladonna, lachesis, and pulsatilla come up as the first 3 remedies. So let's try and fine tune and compare it a bit more in detail with respect to fever. So for that, I'll just jump onto the remedy comparison section and I add these 3 remedies: belladonna, lachesis, and pulsatilla. And what I do is I use a word search, which is fever, because I just want the fever rubrics to be compared and contrasted. And I'm trying to use the contrast feature here, which means it will give me features of fever symptoms of belladonna, which don't have lachesis and pulsatilla, or fever symptoms of lachesis, which don't have belladonna and pulsatilla, or fever symptoms of pulsatilla, which don't have belladonna and lachesis. So these are contrasting symptoms, and I say compare. Now what I get here is the extraction of the fever symptoms of these 3 remedies from all repertories. Now what I'm reading here is, if you look at this, anxiety with fever is pulsatilla. Delirium with fever is lachesis and belladonna. We go down. Dullness and discomfort is more pulsatilla. So if you're finding that duller, more uncomfortable and more anxious personality or temperament is seen during the pulsatilla state, whereas lachesis and belladonna are more delirious. Now how do you differentiate lachesis and belladonna a bit more? Look at this. Escape desire 2 is belladonna. Excitement is lachesis again. Irritability is belladonna. So what's the difference between belladonna and lachesis excitement? This is interesting. Loquacity during fever is lachesis. So belladonna is more irritable, whereas lachesis is more loquacious. Belladonna is more maniac during fever, and lachesis is more talkative. So in our case, this actually confirmed for me because pastilla was more appropriate for this child because this child was much more quieter, much more anxious and fearful. So there was no delirium or there was no excitement or no irritation as seen in a belladonna or a talkativeness as seen in lachesis. Now in this case, pastilla worked to cure the case. And with 3 different confirmations. Now you can always choose to do one of these analyses. However, for me, it just depends on how detailed you want to go. And this is the beauty of HomeoQuest because you can actually work all these 3 and do this entire analysis and confirm your remedy through thousands of rubrics and symptoms in just about 10 minutes. And this works in case after case. And this is what I've actually seen which works for me. Now, I hope this demonstration has helped you get an insight into the HomeoQuest software. I invite you to download the trial version from www.homeoquest.com for a more hands-on experience. Just try using the software and experience its simplicity and ease of use and extreme flexibility from jumping from one section to the other and using all your books at the tip of your fingers, or I would say the click of a button. So thank you so much, and I'll definitely see you again. Bye-bye.